Okay, so in 9.3, we're going to talk about solving for a side of a triangle, but we're not going to use Pythagorean theorem. We're going to use our trig ratios that we learned in 9.2. So really quick, first, if we're talking about a right triangle, we have our sides A, B, and C, right? C being your hypotenuse, A and B don't matter which side. And then we usually label the angles the same letter but capital of the opposite side. So for example, A, our angle would be a capital A. For the side or the angle opposite B, our angle would be capital B. And for C, our right angle would be a capital C. Okay, so whatever your side is, the angle right across from it is the capital of that letter. Okay, let's do an example. So if we're looking at example 1 here, we're given angle B, and we're asked to find side B, right? That's our x value. And we're given 7, which is our C value. Okay, now if we think about our sides as hypotenuse, opposite, or adjacent, from our angle B right here, our x value is going to be the opposite side, right? It's right across from our angle. And what about C, or 7? That's going to be our hypotenuse. Okay, so what trig value do we know that uses the opposite and the hypotenuse sides? Or what trig ratio? Well, that would be sine, right? The sine of an angle is opposite over hypotenuse. So that means the sine of our angle 54.7 is equal to the opposite side, x, over the hypotenuse, 7. Now, if we're solving for x, we want to get x by itself. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 7. So we get 7 sine of 54.7 equaling x. Okay, and then to find that value, we're just going to type it in our calculator. Okay, so we have 7 times the sine of 54.7. So that's what it should look like, just using our sine function. Enter. We've got about 5.71. And again, we're just going to round 2 decimals, so 5.71. And that is our x value. Okay, let's try the next example. So on this one, we have an angle 60 degrees. We have 5 and x. Now, 5 in relation to our 60 is the adjacent side, right? It's right next to it. And then our x is our hypotenuse. Okay, so we know we're going to be using cosine because the cosine of theta is adjacent over hypotenuse. So we know that the cosine of 60 degrees is equal to our adjacent side, 5, over our hypotenuse, x. Now we want to get x by itself, and to do that, we're going to have to get it out of the denominator. So we're going to multiply both sides by x. We get x cosine of 60 equals 5. Then to get the x by itself, we'll divide by the cosine of 60. So our x is going to equal 5 over cosine of 60, or we're going to go back to our calculator and type in 5 divided by the cosine of 60. Okay, and that gives us 10. So our x is 10. Okay, so on examples 3 and 4, we have to draw our own triangles. So remember, our angles, the capital letters are opposite your sides. So if we draw a right triangle, we know C is 4. Remember, C is always your hypotenuse. And then B, it doesn't matter which side is B. So I'll just say that side's B. And we know our angle B is 44 degrees. Okay, so B is going to be our opposite side. C is our hypotenuse. So opposite over hypotenuse is going to be sine. So the sine of 44 is equal to B over 4. Okay, and then again, we just multiply by 4. So we get 4 sine 44 equaling B. Let's pull up our calculator, type that in. 4 sine 44 is equal to 2.78. 0.78, and that would be our B value. Okay, pause the video, try example 4 on your own, and then when you think you've got an answer, press play. Okay, so if we draw a triangle, and again, it doesn't matter which way your triangle's facing, it can face either way. If we want to find side A, so let's call this side A. B is 4, and then angle B has to be right across from B, so that's going to be 22. So B is our opposite side, and A is our adjacent side. Okay, so opposite and adjacent, that's going to be tangent. Okay, so we know the tangent of 22 degrees is going to be equal to our opposite, 4 over our adjacent, which is A. So we got to multiply by A to get it out of the denominator. And then divide our tangent away. So we get A equals 4 over tangent of 22. And we go to our calculator, type that in, 4 divided by the tangent of 22. We get 9.90. 9.90. And that would be our A, our missing side. Okay, and that's all for 9.3. So figure out which trig ratio you need to use and then solve for your variable.